Good morning and welcome to the Northern Territory Indigenous Business Resilience Program in the Black. We welcome you all to our campfire yarn today, and we've got a really special guest coming to join us to talk about the deadly things that they are doing. But first, let me start by acknowledging the traditional custodians on the land upon which we are both meeting and talking today. I am on Gimoy Wallaburra Yidinji country in Cairns, Far North Queensland, but I acknowledge all First Nations people, our elders, past, present and emerging, and extend my respects to you, your family, from wherever you are watching today. So on our campfire yarn, we're really actually looking forward to this yarn today about the work that's happening out there and to give our Indigenous businesses as much information as we can. So we welcome Leigh Coughlan, hope I've pronounced that properly, Leigh, sorry about that, Senior Manager, Financial Capability from Australian Securities and Investment Commission. Welcome, Leigh.
Thanks so much, Julianne. I'm really excited to be here and to connect with the people you're connecting through this program. It's really amazing.
Yeah. So the campfire yarn is about bringing on people to yarn, of course, about what's happening out there, what opportunities there are for Northern Territory Indigenous business, and how they can activate or access any of these types of supports and programs. So tell us a little bit about yourself firstly.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thanks again for having me. My name's Leigh Coughlan. I'd also like to acknowledge the Gadigal and Bidjigal people who are the traditional custodians of the land I'm on today here in what's now Eastern Sydney. And I acknowledge their custodianship and care and pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. So I'm a senior manager in Asic's financial capability team, and as people would know, that's really looking at helping people and also helping organisations to work with people to build their capability and their confidence in working in the financial system that we have. I'm lucky enough to work with Asic's Indigenous Outreach Program, which some of you may have worked with before, and it's a team of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people from around Australia. So we have a couple of people from Perth, down Albany and Bunbury Way, from Queensland and Tassie and northwestern New South Wales. So a really some really great connections in the team, and really powerful insights that they bring to that work. And the role of the team is to work with individuals, but also financial services providers and organisations like financial counsellors and legal services to improve outcomes for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in financial services and products, and also develop resources and make connections with networks and groups and individuals who might be having issues, and working with them on that. So a really diverse bit of work that the team does.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we know that you're either registered with ORIP or with ASIC, and we don't, coming from business as well, that you know what ASIC does, but you don't really know exactly what ASIC does. So that's why that's why yarns like this are so important, because it's also about breaking down those barriers as well. Exactly about what you do. Because sometimes ASIC can be seen as the big stick people. As well.
No.
So.
Yeah, that's right, and that's exactly right, Julianne. The people who are part of this network, they would know ORIC or ASIC in terms of running their own company and what they might need to do to act as a director and the types of responsibilities that you take on in doing that, which is really really serious stuff. But we see so much great success in people doing that. So we're one of the important roles and that we have is supporting people to be successful in doing that. And we have, I think a lot of people would know our small business engagement team and Duncan Poulsen, who represents that work in the NT, and a really important part of what Asic does, understanding what small business enterprises need and the challenges that they're facing, and trying to help them work through that. So as well as you say, there is a stick there, but what we really want to do is have successful business happening in the marketplace.
And it's really important, especially in this time, of COVID and coming in. I think we're starting to come a little bit post-COVID, but we're still in COVID. So it's really important because people, business can be so devastated by the effects of COVID. And we had an Aboriginal lawyer on the other day who, her key theme was make sure your house is in order. Finances, contracts and things like that, because we can be so overwhelmed with all of this other stuff. That's why it's really important to know this stuff.
Yep, that's right, and it's really that those challenges are moving around a lot, but people are responding so positively, and we're as I said, we're trying to keep up with that. There's lots of information on the Money Smart website that Asic has. That is for small business and helping you set up and keep those things in order too. So really trying to give people the power to have a think about what they might need to do, and I did enjoy that. I did really enjoy that session with your legal advisor the other day, and just really try to keep those things as simple as possible so that you can focus on the really important work of making the most of the ideas and the skills and the strengths that people bring into their business. So it is good to keep an eye on that stuff.
No, that's fantastic. Yeah, it was. And I think, the more practical the information we can get, the more we can get it out there and make sure that our mob and Indigenous business is getting that relevant information, as well. So give us an example of people, a little bit about how you interact with Indigenous business. Like, do you have any examples of how you have showed you engaged before? What does that look like? What does that?
So we, our team is has a lot of focus on individuals, but and some of the challenges that individual people might have. But what we do try to do is support that engagement piece, so that an individual person can have the confidence in their own skills and expertise and their ideas, and then that is a great foundation for them to take their ideas forward and have make the most of their ideas in their business. So we do a lot of networking with at business fairs and engaging with people in public where we can. It's opening up a little bit around the country, so we've been able to do a little bit more of that in WA, and I think the Northern Territory as well has really been able to manage its how open they can be in this year. So we are able to talk to people a bit more freely there. So, but staying connected with the challenges that businesses have, what support they can get, and making that available to people, and making sure that people know they can where they can have gotten support this year if they were having particular challenges, and getting access to that kind of information. So just really trying to be that trusted source of contact and questions and networking, and where people can go to get some help.
So is it mostly around financial services and products? Is that's a sort of like information that people can get, Indigenous business and things?
We do have so in the small business work that Duncan does, he does lead the information for small business. The IOP team has, because it has come from a bit of a regulatory background, so where we were seeing a lot of poor conduct that was really impacting Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders quite significantly. The IOP has really stayed in touch with that, supporting individuals and communities that were being impacted. But we do work, and so that is around financial products and services, because we do want to reduce the risk of harm, have better products and safer products out there for people who need to set themselves up with those things. And then we work closely with the small business team to reach out to organisations as well on that small business front. So it's a bit of a mix and a bit of a collaboration within Asic to
And I guess the thing is, people can feel so overwhelmed, but what we tell them is to reach out.
Yeah.
Reach out. Don't, you may be overwhelmed with what's going on and things like that, but reach out and ask, ask for help, or because no question is a silly question,
No,
and especially in times like this when we don't, it's so unprecedented and things are happening, and try not to keep it all to yourself, and let it get on top of you.
Yeah. So we've been doing a bit of work developing an Indigenous financial capability strategy, and where we're up to with that is learning about what is important to people, where their values are, where their priorities are. But across that work, what we what's really common to whether you are an individual, whether you are in a business enterprise, is that is how important it is to talk to other people about a decision you might have to make, and to just learn what you can, and to listen to other people's experiences as well. And we're definitely seeing that that's something that is really bringing a lot of value, and having that working with your family and your community, and just knowing that other people facing the same challenges is really valuable, and one of the really great things that we're learning, that we're seeing lots of strength from that community, and working with others.
Yeah, and I was just bringing up on my computer your Money Smart website, because there seems to be so much on there, and I did have a look, because people have super as well, so and they may have unclaimed or unfound super. Are they the type of things that they can actually go into the Money Smart website to have a look at?
Yeah, absolutely. There's it's the website's all about making a start with thinking about what you might have going on in your life, and what sort of course you might want to take. So it's got the information that can explain the basics about super if you're not as familiar, but then also what are some of the decisions that you can think about in managing your super, and wanting to plan for the future. So it is all of those individual steps that you can take. The website can help you start that off, and get across those things, and it goes across all the different financial products and services that we all have in our life. We've all got a bank account. We've all got a bit of super there. We might need to think about managing debts. So there's lots of tools there to do that. Lots of places to go for information. As you were saying, Julianne, places where you can go and talk to somebody, find someone to talk to, and have a think about those things first, because you don't have to do these things by yourself.
No.
There's lots of help, and it's really focused on just taking a step at a time.
Yes.
And having to think about what where you are, where you might want to get to, and ways to do that. So lots of really important information on that.
And I think too, like as well, we're just for those who are listening in, we're talking to Leigh Coughlan from Australian Securities and Investment Commission, Asic, who's just opened up a whole world of what Asic does, which is completely more than my limited understanding, as well, only from running a business perspective, but didn't realise that there's so much. And we're talking about the Money Smart website. So that's moneysmart.gov.au. And there's so many things in there. And I just, when I was having a look just myself, you even have around financial counselling, because sometimes people can get so overwhelmed with their bills and they're struggling to pay, could be getting harassed by debt collectors, car accidents, like even car accidents with no insurance, or being, evicted from your house. But on there, there's it says financial counselling, but then it has a national debt helpline, because sometimes people can feel shame that they are in this situation. But there is a 1-800 number, which is a free number, national debt hotline. So it's being able to, when you are feeling a little bit ashamed, sometimes it's easier to make a phone call because you're not seeing that face to face, so there's all sorts of things out there, and a small business support line as well. But, like I said, it's certainly opening my eyes up to the different types of support that ASIC, is offering. So, look, the thing is, like we said, go and have a look if you have, an opportunity to hop on a computer and you have internet, to moneysmart.gov.au, which you can see on the screen. Also reach out to people, pick up the phone, have a yarn. We're really good at having a yarn. You have to, if you're in a situation and you're a little bit ashamed, try to get over that shame and reach out, because it's best to reach out than it is just to let it keep festering and growing. So, but no, thank you so much, Leigh. It's been actually really insightful listening to you today and learning more about what ASIC does. And even though you do have a regulatory role, which we know, but there is so much more to the support services that you offer.
Yep, absolutely. No, thanks. Thanks again for having me, Julianne, and I'd really, we're really happy to work with people, and if they have questions about things relating to their business, or they're in that financial product and service, got some issues happening there, they can reach out to us, and if we can't help, we can definitely put you in touch with people. And we're really, one of the great things is working with others and working with those networks and just looking after each other. So it's a really big part of that work that we do. So thanks so much for having me a part of these conversations. Really, really, really grateful, and looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, fantastic. So if you're listening in today, you're like I said before, we've got Leigh Coughlan from Australian Securities and Investment Commission. If you're watching this on Facebook and you'd like to know more information about the program, the In the Black, just comment deadly below and one of our team will be in contact with you. If you are watching this via YouTube, you can also click on the links below and you'll be able to access information. But let us finish from like where we started by acknowledging all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, our ancestors, our elders, and all our mob out there in community. And Leigh, we thank you again. Very insightful, certainly opened up my mind, which is really fantastic. I'm learning as well, as we go. And even though I have, we are running business and we've had big business, we never stop learning. And that's the important part for all of us, is that we never stop learning. So greatly appreciate your talk today. So thank you very much.
No, not at all. We're all learning all the time. I'm in this job for sure. It's just learning from others all the time, which is fantastic.
Fantastic.
Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.